Talks to us about Kerry's win over Dublin. Football is saved is the general feeling after Saturday night. We'll talk to Mike, see how much he's reading into it all. 53106 text number. We were at Off the Ball on Twitter. Richie here in studio. Hi, Rich.
Hey, Joe.
Haven't said a single word to each other all day, I just realised.
Don't like you, that's why.
And now here we are. And
makes for a better, more lively Newsround.
That makes it very fresh.
Very real.
It's really fresh. It's actually, there's a genuine Newsround feel to things. Yeah. Like you can exchange news about your respective weekends if you so wish.
What's up?
I can hear how great you were at the weekend live on air tonight.
Dan McDonnell, of course, here as well. Hello.
Hi, Joe.
So we're busy this evening. We're packed in with lots going on. 6-0. Dan, if we're starting with a football man,
it's not a great Sunday.
Let's talk about.
It's not a great Sunday.
That whooping.
Yeah. I mean, I made the mistake of missing the first half an hour or so of this game, and then thinking, well, I'll catch up with this game later on. You know, it's always a calculated gamble. If you think you can't make the start of a game, you think, well, I'll make the second half at least. Yeah. You know, I'll watch the second half. I mean, this is a high-end top 6 Premier League encounter, so it's going to be poised to some degree. You know, you'll get the business end of it. And you're sort of just checking the scores, going 1-0, 2-0. You know, I know a couple of Chelsea fans sort of sending messages going, what actually is happening here?
Yeah, appreciating that Richie Sarri is a very smart man and has done many excellent things with football teams. Is there just a point whereby you have N'Golo Kante shunted out over there somewhere on the right-hand side, and you have Jorginho, who, as we saw even with the first goal, when Aguero sidestepped him very easily, has no defensive capabilities, and you're playing Man City. Is there just a point where you can say, I know that Sarri is obviously a very intelligent footballing mind, but maybe he's just doing something a little bit off here and he's a bit too entrenched, and someone needs to say to him,
compromise your principles.
We're overthinking this a little bit. You know, you got one of the best defence midfielders there in the world, if not the best. He's kind of not where he needs to be too often. Is there some way we can manipulate the situation?
But who actually says that, though?
I don't know. I just feel like someone should.
Someone probably will. But like they have to. Like they've committed to something, and like you would say, it looks ominous
for Sarri.
And I know we'll speak to Pat later, and we might look at some of the fixtures they have coming up. But it does cross your mind that they have a tough run of fixtures ahead, league-wise and sort of cup-wise. That you're not going to necessarily bring. Are you going to bring a new manager in now, and make him suffer that run and set him off? It's like the old Solskjaer effect, where he came into a sort of a smooth landing and a couple of wins to build things up. Like, what are they going to do? Are they really just going to? Are they going to give him the bullet? Is he just going to go and that's it? And they're like, well, we brought in a manager because he plays a particular type of football, an attractive type of football, but it's not really working. And off we go. And do we go full circle again and go back to someone who will make some of the pragmatic adjustments that need to be made?
There is a bigger question there as regards Abramovich's.
I was just going to say, that's the unknowable.
Because it seems obvious to the naked eye that he's taken a step back in terms of his day-to-day involvement with the club. And if you read things in between the lines, and you certainly read things about high-level Russian involvement in England, then he's almost been forced to take a step back from his English life, as it were. And I don't think he's alone in that. There are other people involved in Russian companies, Russian-owned companies and Russian clubs, Russian-owned clubs in England, where a similar situation is playing out. It's playing out to a degree in Monaco as well, where their owners had to dial it back a notch. And if Abramovich isn't wholly on board, then it's probably a change in ownership, which I don't think Chelsea fans are going to be clamouring for, given the change in culture that he brought that club in the last 15 years. But it's one that is edging closer to being all the more necessary. Yeah,
it's starting to shape up that way. So Pat and Evan on the football show just after 9 o'clock. Let's start with the news round, Richie. The Sean O'Brien move confirmed today.
Done and dusted. London Irish confirming today that O'Brien will join them after the World Cup. The Leinster back row turns 32 on Valentine's Day and will link up with the English Championship leaders in December. The Irish Times report that O'Brien signed a 3-year deal which is worth €420,000 a year. The Ireland flanker says it was a conversation with Declan Kidney that convinced him of the club's ambitions. During his time with Leinster to date, O'Brien has won 4 Heineken Champions Cup and a pair of Pro 14 titles. His Leinster head coach Leo Cullen spoke in glowing terms about the Tulla man in the wake of the move's confirmation.
Shawnee for me has been such a key driver of Leinster rugby's success over the last 10 years. You know, not only is he a world-class player on the field, but he's also made an incredible impact in growing the game all over the province during the period that he's played for Leinster. And as you know, for someone was lucky enough to play with Shawnee, he was someone that you wanted beside you in the dressing room because you knew what he was capable of delivering on the field, in the fact that he was the ultimate competitor in many ways. and having Shawnee beside you always gave you the confidence that anything was possible on any given day, because you knew nothing would faze him, and he was always a player that would always lead from the front.
Yeah, good move for Sean O'Brien. Makes total sense for him at his age. 3 years, that kind of money that's been reported is very nice as well. So hopefully he gets a send-off, which his career deserves, actually, because he has been so good. There are no injury updates, is that what we're hearing?
Yeah,
from
no
Saturday?
news is good news. It seems Ireland's Six Nations win over Scotland has brought no new injury concerns for Joe Schmidt. The RFU say players carrying knocks will continue to rehab with their provinces. CJ Stander and Gary Ringrose are among those. It's hoped Ty Byrne will be fit for the trip to Italy, having missed the first 2 games of the campaign, and a number of the squad will be released to their respective provinces ahead of this coming weekend's round of Pro 14 games.
Rugby is starting earlier this evening than advertised. Usually Monday Night Rugby is at 8 o'clock. Brian O'Driscoll coming your way just after 7:30 or so, along with Rory O'Connor. So we're trying to make room for some GAA as well after that. So if you're looking for the rugby, don't go anywhere.
The Irish Horse Racing Regulatory Board today lifted the ban on British trained horses racing in Ireland with immediate effect. The ban was imposed due to the outbreak of equine flu at Donald McCain's Cheshire Yard last week. Horses will be allowed to race here once trainers can confirm that they've been vaccinated within 8 weeks of their race. A decision on a possible resumption of racing in the UK won't be known before 10:30 tonight.
What's the feeling, Dan?
Well, this is interesting. This is basically the Irish authorities, I think, almost trying to pressurise the British racing authorities, or give them some encouragement, or urge them into resuming racing. Because, I mean, Richie sort of ran through it there, that like there's a decision coming tonight on whether English racing can resume on Wednesday, but there's a lot of disquiet amongst like the English trainers, because they feel that the authorities over there have gone too far, that they reacted very quick initially last Thursday night. I think they've got a lot of praise for acting decisively and calling off racing in case this was a dreadful epidemic which was out there, which had catastrophic implications. They've since done, I think, high hundreds into thousands, and they've pretty much found all negatives, with the exception of a handful of additional ones in another yard on top of Donald McCain's initial yard, the yard where the initial outbreak was. The point has been made by all the big English trainers that at any time in the year, if you went round and tested, a couple of thousand horses, you will find a couple that are suffering from flu, equine flu, a variant of this, a strain of this. This is not unusual. If they were recording hundreds or, sort of a significant amount of positive cases, then the argument would be racing could continue to be shut down. They feel they've gone almost too cautious, and by the Irish authorities, who've continued racing the whole time, saying to the British trainers, you can bring your horses here to run them because we're totally cool with it. That's basically saying to the British authorities, sort of get on with it.
Okay.
So it would appear to be a tactic of sign, or unless there's some kind of a discussion about it. But I think you'll see the racing. I think it's going to get cracking again soon, I think, over the water, definitely.
We football this evening?
Yeah, Newcastle could move 3 points clear of the Premier League's relegation zone tonight, but they are away to Wolves. The teams are in for this one. Rui Patricio starts in goal for Wolves, with Matt Doherty and Jonathan Otto providing the width. In defence, Ryan Bennett, Conor Cody and Willie Bolly. Leander Dendoncker and Ruben Neves anchor the midfield. Joe Moutinho is in front of them, with Raul Jimenez and Diogo Jota in front of those. Martin Dubravka starts in the Newcastle goal. DeAndre Edlin, Fabian Schär, Jamal Lascelles and Fabien Lejeune make up their back four. In midfield, it's Matt Ritchie, Isaac Hayden, Sean Longstaff, the promising youngster there, and Christian Atsu, with Salomon Rondon up front for them. Manuel Almiron, their record signing, is on the bench for Newcastle tonight.
It's a good day in the Ramsey house.
It is indeed. You can probably start ordering your Christmas presents from Aaron now. He signed a pre-contract agreement with Juventus to join them in the summer. The Welsh international midfielder will be a free agent, with Arsenal opting not to renew his contract after 11 years at the club. Ramsey has agreed a 4-year contract with the Trin Giants that will reportedly see him earn over €460,000 a week. The 28-year-old passed a two-part medical with Juve in January.
Yes, we did it. Aaron, we did it, baby.
We're done. Aaron, book whatever you want. But, it is sort of crazy, and you compare, like, the Sean O'Brien money is huge, but it's like, this is football.
Well, he's earning 40 grand a week more than he's.
Now, there is some dispute over whether, the figure reported is a gross or net. And, like, this is one of these big talk, you talk to people involved in football, that sometimes they go, no, I only want to know the net figure. All I want to know is the net, none of this gross nonsense. The gross nonsense, that's for people with real jobs.
Gab Marcotti is one of those who's been saying that this
250, I think.
250 is the actual figure. And
take home, you know?
And there could be more added to it. Basically, they could be portioning out his signing on fee into his wages, which would make it as bloated as it would seem.
Yeah, it's pretty common. So
I want to know gross. Everything's done in gross. We understand wages in gross.
Some footballers like it in like it in net. Because it wasn't that the whole issue with Andrea Shavin years ago, that he didn't realise that the tax rates in the UK.
Oh, there is a tax rate in the UK.
He didn't realise that there was tax rates in the UK compared to the sort of personal tax rate in Russia, which is like 20% or something like that.
What's the tax rate in Italy?
In Italy, I have no idea. Actually, Italy are in a bit of financial bother at the moment, but I assume he'll be fine.
Look, he's pulling in $460,000 a week.
Apparently, he's going to be the highest paid British footballer.
8th highest in the world at the moment. Yeah.
British footballer of all time.
Well, at the moment, which I presume would
it have to be all time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aaron Ramsey.
Running down your contract is just the way to do it.
The whole moral of the story is here, why would you not just have a...
I don't know why it doesn't happen more.
Just run it down the whole time. Don't.
Now, only Arsenal get themselves into this kind of a mess. I mean, most clubs will say to you a year out, if you do not sign an extension, you're going. We're getting something back for you. So somehow Arsenal have allowed events conspire to this point.
I don't know.
It's very rare. Sol Campbell, obviously, at Spurs to Arsenal was the other big one. It really is rare because it's so financially insane to let someone run down their contract.
Callum O'Dowd is one of those at Bristol City. I think his deal is going to run out possibly this summer.
Yeah, and they triggered the extension.
Triggered an extension. It's basically like, well, we're going to get something for you if you shag off.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. Does this look bad for Arsenal? Because I mean, they took assertive action with Ozil.
No, you don't need to keep going. Yes, it looks bad.
It does look bad.
He's been there 11 years. Is the other side of that?
Yeah.
Factor in a loyalty aspect to it.
It looks very bad.
But was this what Ramsey wanted from Arsenal, wage-wise?
460 grand a week. No.
Well, he's not going to get it from them.
Of course he wasn't. I wonder, does the insane amount of money that he's earning in Juventus and somehow like soften any sort of the publicity side of the Arsenal argument here? It's like, listen, Aaron's wage demands. They could come out subsequently and say, I mean, his wage demands were unrealistic. Look what he's getting. Look what Juventus were offering him all the way through.
They can't come out and
this was going on in the background.
Clearly, he wasn't looking for 460,000 a week.
Well, how did he get it then?
Because it's a free transfer. He's getting the
free transfer is you are the king.
Yeah, I mean, it's like.
But other players out there, I mean, okay, you can get an injury, and I know the long-term contract security, there is a sort of a logic to it. It's all guaranteed money. It's not like some of the American sports, but still.
I don't think it's
tempting.
Not every player can do what Ramsey's done and run the contract down. Like I know you're saying, why doesn't everybody do it and go on a free transfer? Because
the clubs don't let you.
And again, not everybody's Aaron Ramsey.
No.
Not everybody's a decent level footballer. You want to be able to try and get enough signing on fees and enough different moves as you possibly can.
Yeah. Well, good luck to him. So, where are we going next?
That was very dripping with sincerity there, Joe.
Jack O'Donoghue's in the frame to make his first Munster appearance since suffering a serious knee ligament injury in the Pro 14 semi-finals back in May. Munster say the back row has returned to training and will be back in action in the coming weeks. Munster face the Southern Kings in the Pro 14 this coming Friday. That game is at Irish Independent Park. And JJ Hanrahan could feature after returning to full training following a hip injury. But centre Sammy Arnold will be unavailable for what the province say the next few weeks after sustaining a hairline fracture of his fibula. Sticking with injury news, Fergus McFadden could feature in Leinster's Pro 14 meeting with Zebre in Italy after returning to full training following a hamstring injury. Dan Levy's rehabbing his calf issue, while the province say Joe Tamane is a week or two away from his return from a hamstring injury of his own.
On that kind of money, Aaron could buy an entire house in a state and call it Ramsey Street. It's pal. It's a true story.
Yeah.
Michael Owen did that, didn't he? Effectively bought
called Owenville,
an entire estate or an entire road for his family.
Mickey Wood.
Yeah.
I don't know if he renamed it.
He's bought a load of horses as well. I mean, Michael Owen he spent his money.
This is a man who travelled by helicopter to training at Newcastle. So, yeah.
Probably needs to.
Well,
any kind of longer journey in a car is probably going to screw his hamstring or his knees up even further than they were.
He was still in Liverpool then. So he's going from Liverpool to Newcastle every day on the helicopter.
I thought he would too if he could.
It's a completely because he could sort of situation there.
If you can, right? If you have the option, car or helicopter, what are you going to pick? Yeah. I mean, I know you get the chopper to Ballymount every Saturday or whatever for the coverage.
A couple of weeks ago, we held a Dubs versus Culchies charity match. Dan McDonnell starred to raise money for the Irish Heart Foundation, and the partnership continues this week. They want people to show some heart this Valentine's Day by donating to the Irish Heart Foundation. If you want to do that, get onto irishheart.ie/donate for more details. We're taking a very quick break, a news round, and then Brand Driscoll on the way.
Off the Ball on Newstalk. What's next for the National Children's Hospital?
Is Simon Harris's version of events credible?
No, it's not.
€4 million bet, and that's Minister Harris's interpretation of good value for money.
Everybody wants the Children's Hospital. They want it to be a brilliant facility. They just don't want to write a blank cheque for it.
The Minister for Health should do the right thing, solve this problem and step out of office.
Gardaí have attended the scene of a protest outside the home of the Health Minister, Simon Harris.
This isn't protest, it's intimidation.
I have absolute confidence in Simon Harris as Minister.
Stay ahead of the story with Newstalk.
At AppliancesDelivered.ie, we love taking the hassle out of buying new appliances. With fastest delivery nationwide, lowest prices guaranteed. And right now, we're offering something extra. Half-price installation. Yep, for a limited time, you can get half-price installation on everything. Washing machines, dryers, fridge freezers, dishwashers. And there's free removal of your old appliance too. T's and C's apply. That's half-price installation all this week at AppliancesDelivered.ie.
Mattresses-Delivered.ie. Nationwide delivery within 48 hours for free. That's mattresses-delivered.ie. Lowest prices guaranteed. Don't forget the hyphen. T's and C's apply.
The Electric Ireland, Sigerson, Fitzgibbon and Higher Education Championships. One small window in the GAA calendar when deep traditional rivalries are put aside. Fierce inter-county foes become friends, competitors become comrades. When the best club and county players from every corner of the country line out in their college or university jerseys to play and win together. Teammates for a time, but always first-class rivals. The GAA Higher Education Championships, proudly sponsored by Electric Ireland.
Buying a house shouldn't be all about red tape. It should be about rolling out the red carpet. My Sherry Fits is an online platform that allows you to make offers, see other offers, contact your agent and book viewings. All online, anytime you like. It's an entirely new way to buy a home, built on everything we've always believed in. Find out more at mysherryfits.ie. Sherry Fitzgerald. It's not just about property, it's about people.
Volkswagen Financial Services has a product that could transform your business in 2019. Interested? It can remove depreciation costs on your entire fleet, free up cash flow for your business, and with fixed monthly payments, your fleet costs will always be the same. Sounds good, right? It also has a low cost of entry, and if your driver needs assistance, they'll call us, not you. And this product's name? Leasing, from Volkswagen Financial Services. So whether your business requires 1 or 100 vehicles, our leasing product can benefit you. Before you update your 191 fleet, visit vwfs.ie/leasing or call into your local authorised Volkswagen, Audi, Seat, Skoda or Volkswagen commercial vehicle retailer today. Terms and conditions apply.
Off the Ball. This is Newstalk.
Okay, welcome back. Newsround continuing. Ashley Young.
Yeah, he signed a one-year contract extension with Manchester United, Joe. He joined the club in 2011 from Aston Villa, originally as a winger, but has parlayed his talents into being a full-back in recent seasons. Young has been involved in all bar one of United's Premier League games so far this season and has captained the side for the majority of this term. United themselves preparing for tomorrow night's Champions League last 16 first leg with Paris Saint-Germain at Old Trafford. PSG arrived in Manchester without the injured front pair Neymar and Edinson Cavani, while defender Thomas Meunier misses out as he's suffering from a concussion. But United boss Ole Gunnar Solskjaer isn't openly admitting that spate of injuries puts his side at an advantage tomorrow night.
Of course, any team that have are missing players like Neymar, Cavani, Meunier will feel the effect, but that'll give any of the other players a chance. So for me, it makes it maybe more unpredictable for us who they're going to play, because when you've seen that front three over the whole season, you know what to expect. So this time around, we're guessing a little bit how they're going to come, but we've got a good guesstimate on how they're approaching this game.
Yeah, it's going to be an amazing game. We'll talk more about it on the football show. Sean and Tala, lads, Arsenal had come to a contract agreement with Ramsey, but then withdrew it when Unai Emery said he wasn't part of his plans, Sean and Tala. Fair point. However, I would say if you're running the club well, from a business point of view, on Emery's arrival, one of the first things you would sit down and say to him is, these are the players who are into the final year of their contract. They are valuable assets. Ramsey is probably top of that list. I need a quick decision from you here. Are you going to want this guy? Or if not, we're going to sell him, and because he's in the last year of his contract, we're going to make 20, 25 million off him.
They had a board influx as well because Gazidis having a foot out the door heading for AC Milan, so you don't know how pertinent that would have been.
Oh no, like my point is things were not being done well.
Yeah,
that is such a basic first step. That would be one of the honestly, that'd be in the first 5 hours of his. What business do I need to deal with urgently? Players in their last year contract, do you fancy them, do you not, would be top of that list. And look, it's tough in Emery to have to make a call on that without working with him for several months, but you would just have to say to him, if you don't want him, we need to sell him.
Yeah.
Not just let him go for free.
Yeah, and I think Ramsey's team seemed to play it quite well as well in terms of how they, even some of the coverage of the story and how it sort of, how it was fed out. I think they've managed the situation very well.
They may have done some briefing to the effect that Emery didn't want him.
Well, this is it. It's worked out quite well.
I'd be sceptical of some of that as well. I'd say Emery might have kept him.
I think could you? Did he not want him that much to the extent that he's like, just let him go, like discard him? It's just that seems unbelievably rash sort of call. I mean, you could describe it as confidence in their man that they allowed him to do it, but it just doesn't add up.
It doesn't. It would strike me, Ramsey, been there so long. He's a perfectly good squad player at worst for Emery. Sell him in 18 months or 2 years if you still don't want him.
I have to say, though, you have to sort of admire what Ramsey has done, though. I mean, consider he's come back from the leg break. He started pretty young with Cardiff. He's had sort of highs and lows in his career, and he's 28 or whatever. He's 28, I think.
28, yeah.
Gone off to play for Juventus for a couple of years, and massive money, showing a bit of. A bit of wanderlust, I did. It's a great career story from where he was lying on that pitch when his leg was broken.
What is that? Guts at 20 million plus a year.
Well, it depends if you're dealing gross or net here.
I'm dealing gross.
You're dealing gross.
Yeah.
You want the gross.
He'll evade tax, no problem.
Yeah. Yeah, you can always agree. Yeah. It's not a bad old way to spend the next couple of years of your career.
Yeah.
At the other end of the financial scale, footballing wise, Limerick FC say a local consortium have committed to financially supporting the club for the 2019 season. They were relegated after losing a playoff with Finn Harps in November, ending a season dogged by stories of financial instability. Limerick had a transfer ban imposed upon them last season, and players voted for strike action after they went unpaid for a number of weeks. The club now say the consortium will prepare Limerick for what they call a mutually agreeable takeover at the end of 2019, and Limerick begin life back in the First Division with the visit of Longford Town to Markets Field on Friday week.
Just before we go, so we squeeze it in, Paul Scholes.
Back in management, taking his first steps in management, the Manchester United legend named today as the new boss of Oldham Athletic. Scholes takes over at Boundary Park with the club 14th in League 2 with the game against Yeovil Town to come tomorrow night. At his unveiling, Scholes was asked if it would be a culture shock shifting focus from top level football to a side mid-table in England's 4th tier.
I wouldn't be here if I didn't feel excited by the team I've seen. I've watched football at all levels. I think still the basics apply to whichever level you're at, whether you're non-league, whether you're in the Premier League. And like I said, I'm just excited about this team. I think there's a group of players at a good age. There's a couple in the 30s, obviously, but you need that experience around as well. But I'm just looking forward to get going. Obviously, I've prepared for the last 2 or 3 weeks, really watching games all the time as much as I can, looking at other teams, looking at the way we play, obviously, which is very important. And like I said, I think there's a team capable of doing really well, so that's why I've decided to come here.
Yeah, amazing. More on that in the football show, and then just before we go, people might have been wondering about the golf at Pebble Beach, which they didn't finish last night.
Yeah, Phil Mickelson has won a record equaling 5th Pebble Beach Pro-Am. He beat Paul Casey by 3 shots after completing a weather-delayed final round of 67 this afternoon. Mickelson joins Mark O'Meara in winning the tournament 5 times. It's also his 44th career PGA Tour title.
Amazing. He's still churning them out. Amazing. Right. Short break. We are talking all things Six Nations next. Rory O'Connor from the Irish Independent and Brian O'Driscoll in studio next.